Yes, we're back. Talking with T-Bird is ready to go here. And we're back here with the woman who rounds up all the survivors you want to hear from. She's got a good one on the hook for you today. Zoe Zanadakis. And yes, here she is, of course. Our queen, T-Bird Cooper. T-Bird, how are you?
Hey, Rob.
So
I'm
good.
I'm great. I'm excited about Zoe. I have worked on trying to get Zoe. You know, this is our 5th season, so we've been doing this for
reeled
5
in one
years.
for a long time. Yep.
Yes. Oh, I like the T-shirt, Rob. By the way, I like that.
The old school T-shirt.
I love it.
Yep. For something an old school
Representing
guest.
Zoe.
Yep. So work hard, play hard. That's me.
So Rob, I've been working on Zoe for quite a few years now, and last year I thought I had her. I thought I had snagged her in, the fishing boat captain. And then I sent her Christine Shields. She wanted me to send her, she didn't know.
What'd she say? Nope, pass.
Because Zoe doesn't watch Survivor. She didn't watch it before. She wasn't really familiar. So she doesn't do podcasts or interviews. And so I sent her Christine Shields because, Rob, I was trying to figure which one of these podcasts should I send her where it doesn't scare her away? It doesn't do this. So I sent her Christine Shields, and then she got back with me, and she was so sweet. She goes, "You know what, T-Bird, life is just really hectic right now," and I'm like, "Oh man!" So this year we got her, and I know that all of her fans are going to be so excited to hear from her.
Okay, all right. Well. Very exciting. All right, good job there, T-Bird. And congratulations are in order for you, T-Bird, because T-Bird was one of the 20 people and 10 women that there was a little thing. Mike Bloom was super busy all summer. And Mike Bloom every day did a podcast. And he said, okay, who should come back from each season of Survivor? And then after Mike Bloom got all done, there was a vote. And they got it down to 50 people. Who do you want to come back for Survivor 50? And then from the 50 people, they got it down to 20 people that were voted. And Mike Bloom recently revealed the results of the 20 people voted by the fans who they want to see come back for Survivor 50. And of course, Teresa T-Bird Cooper, one of the 20. Congratulations.
Thank you, Rob. And you were one of the
people were here to talk about you. Okay.
Well, congrats to you. And Rob, I mean, I'm emotional just hearing you talk about that because when it came out, I actually was very emotional because that was a big deal.
And it's very deserved. It's very deserved. And I think that now I didn't vote, T-Bird, but I would have voted for you.
Thank you, Rob.
Yes. But I think that people feel like, okay, T-Bird, they should have brought her back in the first place. They wanted to right or wrong from the second chances. They see how active you are in the Survivor community, bringing people talking with T-Bird. You're so such a hard worker, both in your professional life, but also tracking down all these survivors. So, T-Bird, we would be blessed to see you play Survivor 50.
Rob, thank you. If it happens, I would love it more than anything. If it doesn't happen, that I've got to do all these amazing things in the last 23 years because of Survivor and just doing this, the Talking with T-Bird has been just such a blessing. So thank you. It's a win-win. Either way, it's a win-win.
I feel you 155,000%. It's totally, I get it, T-Bird. But I'm so happy to see people recognize the greatness of T-Bird.
Thank you, Rob. Oh, that's so kind. Yeah. Thank you, Rob. Thank you.
T-Bird. Okay. All right. So we've got a good one here today. Are you ready for Zoe?
Yes. Is Zoe ready for us?
Zoe ready for us. We'll find out. Okay. All right, T-Bird. Let's go ahead. Let's bring in Zoe Zanadakis.
Our guest today played on the 4th season of Survivor Marquesas. This then 35-year-old said she applied because of a dare from a local islander. She said she thought it would also broaden her horizons after growing up in such a remote area with only a one-room school, kerosene, and gas lights. A small fishing community of only 60 people, 12 miles off the coast of Maine, Monhegan Island. She had never watched Survivor, but she figured she wouldn't have any problem surviving because she had spent most of her life outdoors. Nicknamed the Lobster Lady, she had been a commercial lobster fisherman for 17 years and a charter boat captain. Even though she did not work out in a gym, lifting lobster traps gave her an edge with her strength. To prepare, she read a few books that Mark Burnett had written, and one he suggested was about a young sailor who visits Nuka Hiva. As far as videos, the only season she was able to find was the best of tapes from the first Survivor season, which she said, quote, didn't give me a real clear picture as to what the Alliance did for you, end quote. She was placed on the Road to tribe, which would become the dominant tribe. They won the first 3 immunity challenges, but on day 10, she would find herself in a tribe switch. After this tribe switch, she would become part of the Road to 4. The remaining players formed a counter alliance, but she would then betray her alliance, which would begin the first ever breakdown of a dominant tribe. She said she tried to adapt. Quote, my only strategy was kind of going about my business the way I do it. I was just doing my thing out there and exploring and diving and looking for food, end quote. She tried to fit in, even making shell jewelry for her tribe, but slowly she began letting her alliance know in little ways that she no longer was part of an alliance and had no intention of sticking with them. Quote, they weren't people I trusted from the get-go, and I'm kind of off on my own, end quote. She would make it to day 27 and become the second jury member. She said there was a lot of politics in the game, and she played being true to herself, strength and honor. Quote, this alliance thing, boy, didn't it just get in the way? I didn't take it as seriously as they did, end quote. I introduced the woman, proud of the fact that she stood alone and wasn't really a part of an alliance, an independent, strong, outspoken woman with the work hard, play hard attitude, whose mantra is, quote, love what you do, have a passion, and live it, end quote. Who says she is always flying by the seat of her pants, Zoe Zanadakis.
Wow.
Wow.
Zoe, I'm almost emotional, as crazy as this sounds, Rob. I have wanted this beautiful woman for so many years, and I am thrilled that we have her today. Thank you, Zoe.
T-Bird is choked up today.
I am.
I'm choked up. This is crazy.
Yes. Do you realize the effect that you have on people?
I guess not. No, I don't. That was really well put, T-Bird, everything you said, and thank you for your kind words and kind, honest words.
Yeah. Zoe,
thank you for
if you were listening to the podcast version of this, Zoe is just beaming and glowing. Zoe, you look, I said before we jumped on, you look great. You seem so happy.
Well, I'm outdoors working. I like to work outdoors whenever possible. And Maine has 4 seasons. So, if I'm not working outdoors here, I'm in Fort Lauderdale working, running
nice. What are you currently working on? What are you doing these days?
Well, at the moment, I'm on Monhegan Island, and there's tuna season that's going on now. So I've been doing a little bit of tuna fishing with my old apprentice captain. I'm running his mate, and we caught a tuna fish early June, and we were just out trying to catch one the other day. But when I'm not out there doing that, I'm painting and doing some stuff where I'm standing now on a porch out at Dead Man's Cove on Monhegan Island. I'm painting some house trim. I work for my brother in his business here, Monhegan Restorations, and always to rebuild and do out here. It's great to work outdoors.
Do you have more than 60 people now on the island?
Well, in the summertime, yes, but in the wintertime, actually, the population has dropped quite a bit, because when I went to school here, there were 13 kids. Now there's only like 2 or 3 kids in school. So it's probably more like down to, 50 year round.
Tell me about this island. So this is a small island, and this is where you live, Zoe?
It's where I grew up, where I spent the first 40 years of my life, and my mom's family's lived here for a long, long time. It's a small fishing community.
Yeah.
In the winter time, and then in the summertime, the population grows to maybe 500 during the day when the ferry boats come from the mainland out to the island, and people come out and walk the island day trip. It's the island is very small. It's smaller
Yeah.
than Central Park. It's only
Okay.
a mile long by a mile and a half
Do
wide.
you know everybody's name that's on the island?
All of the people that live here year round, but
Yes.
not all of the guests that
What if
are.
somebody moves? Does everybody have to have like sort of like a hold on? We don't know. No, like could we vet these people a little bit?
Well, you have to have a warm house, so you don't move too much. But yeah, there are some people, sell their home, and they'll other people move to the island and they become part of the community, and it's a great place to grow up. But
Wow.
after 40 years here, I needed to, or 35 years when I did Survivor a while ago. Yeah, it was good to get off and see the world.
I bet they love having you back for the summers. Bet they
Yeah,
love.
my brother certainly loves it, and it is nice to see people that I've grown up with and have known me since I was a very little girl.
And Zoe, it seems like when you move since Survivor, you're always around water. I mean, you're in LA,
Oh
you're in
yeah.
Fort Lauderdale, but you're in. Didn't you go to spend a lot of time in Australia as well?
I was older when I went there, and I had to get a work visa, which was because I was older, and I was in the Coffs Harbour area, which is part of New South Wales, Australia. Very a really beautiful spot, and I worked a lot outdoors there, campfire cooking and just doing all sorts of outdoor jobs with my work visa. I didn't do this. I didn't do any work in Australia without a work visa because it's they're very strict on their immigration laws.
So Zoe, you have this super interesting background. How did you then get involved with Survivor at sort of the peak of its popularity? How did you end up crossing paths with them?
Like the program, how did
Yeah,
I
you getting involved with how did you go from minding your own business to then being out in the Marquesa?
Wow, that's a very good question. Because Survivor was not, you couldn't watch Survivor on Monhegan Island because the you couldn't get CBS for some reason if you didn't have a satellite dish, and not many people had. Nobody had a satellite dish. So one of my captains, who I did my apprenticeship with, he got a satellite dish, and we were able to watch, or he was able to watch the program, and people would go over to his house. But back to your question, as I digress in conversation here. Sorry about that.
You're good.
My friend Barbara Hitchcock said, I somebody told me about the show, and I said it sounds interesting, and she sort of dared me to do it, and she runs one of the businesses out here, the Black Duck, and it's a little gift shop and coffee shop, and I go to her for advice. She, I grew up with her. She's a little older than I was, and she said, like, if you want to get out and see the world, well, do something different. So Survivor was certainly something different.
Yeah.
And Zoe, on paper, perfect, perfect. But when you went out there, I guess you didn't realize that the alliance or the camaraderie or no man is an island was an important way to go about it.
I know. Well, growing up on Monhegan, you want to be independent. You're in your own self, but you work with a community. And I mean, I have alliances, we'll say, on the island, or relationships with people, like my fishing community when I was fishing out here. But I guess I don't know. It was sort of like, it was very different. The alliance, the way it all formed on
Yeah.
Survivor. And I wasn't sure where to go at times.
But also that you all had not even seen that much Survivor. I know you said you only watched the best of DVDs, but
Right.
I'm pretty sure. So you all went and filmed your season like shortly after 9/11, right?
Yes, they almost didn't have the program.
Right.
We were in the city, and it was flights and things like that. And the Marquesas is a stretch to get there.
Yes. And you had not even seen T-Bird season, which I think started running maybe the first episode.
No, I hadn't. I would have liked to have seen the whole season, and I still haven't yet. But I went onto a website. Internet is very spotty out here, so sometimes you get things. I'm lucky that we're having this conversation now.
Yeah, so you all didn't even have that much to work with in terms of like what you knew coming into the 4th season of Survivor.
No, I didn't. And I would. It did. I should have. I should have tried to be more. To learn more about it.
Yeah.
But,
So I just realized this. I have to tell you this. I was going to be on the 4th season, your season.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I sent in an application for the 2nd one, and then they called me for the 3rd one. But then they called me during the process and said, we're going to hold you till the 4th one. I could have been out there with you. And I can tell you right now, I would have driven you bat crazy. Don't you think, Rob?
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah. Zoe would be like, too much.
Well, I like to work with a lot of people. Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. And
T-Bird's a hard worker, for sure.
I can tell.
But I'm not sure that she might be too much of a talker for you, Zoe.
Yeah, I do like, little serenity sometimes, but talk. That's what it's all about. I mean, I learned that with Survivor, and you gotta express yourself in an honest way. And then I don't know, but sometimes I guess I didn't like some of the undercurrent that was sort of part of it all.
Yeah. What do you mean the undercurrent? The social politics, the game. What was it? You didn't like how it was part of the show?
Let me see here. Let me try to explain this better. No, I guess I was overthinking it maybe, like there's, thinking about, I should have just, maybe I wasn't present enough. And like, cause the editing and the process where you're, they haul you off to do a little interview and then you go back and then everything changes, like after you've had this interview with the camera people and you're like, uh-oh. And then you get this feel that something's going on and nobody wants to talk to you or everybody wants to talk to you. It was hard to sort of navigate that for me. I'm pretty straightforward. If I don't, so I'll just say something and maybe, I should be a little bit that.
Yeah.
Zoe, did you go into it thinking you could win, and did you want to win? Or did you just want the experience? Did you go into it thinking that way?
I guess I didn't even know initially that it was all about, you'd win a prize or, a monetary prize, and then figured that out. And I did want to win, but I guess for me, it was initially more about the experience. And when I got it figured out a little bit more, I was already out the door, and on the jury. So, you got to go in there and want to win, but you also, for me, I had to be, I don't know, true to myself and not stepping on people's toes, I guess.
Zoe, from everything that I understand about Survivor Marquesas, it was one of the hardest seasons physically, but you're somebody who's used to maybe being in some like unforgiving environments. Did you find Marquesas to be a absolutely an incredibly difficult place to experience 27 days?
No, not really. It was kind of nice. I lost.
Because I hear about the bugs, the no-nos, and we had no food.
Yeah. There was some control, like you really had to control yourself.
And the beach had too much coral.
Oh, yeah, there was that too. And, and I was always wanting to be in the water, looking for the troca shells, looking for the food in the trees, looking for things with Nalia, and we're climbing. And, I don't know, it was, or looking for firewood. We had to we had to boil water all the time. The taro root, we had to boil that because it wasn't a cultivated taro root. So it was very fibrous. To eat it, and that was like our only starch. We were told that we're not giving you any food on this, and I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll figure it out. They let us know that there were things available to eat out there in the woods or in the ocean, and we just had to go look for them.
Yeah.
And I was like trying to motivate people to go look for things, and sometimes people wanted to do that and sometimes people didn't, so you just I just like to eat.
Yeah, I do too.
Zoe,
bugs were bad. Yeah, the bugs were bad, and you just the lady on the other team, I've unfortunately forgotten her name, but she was scratching a lot, and it really you can't.
Sarah? Would that have been Sarah?
Oh my God, Sarah! Yes.
Beautiful Sarah.
Yeah,
she was eaten up.
Oh, she was
eaten up with the.
I mean, we all were, but if you could somehow, I don't know, not scratch.
So when you got back and you watched it, and I think I read that you had a couple of people, 3 or 4 people ended up getting satellites to watch you on the show. But when you watched it, or did you watch it, did you have a different feeling for Tammy and the general? Did you trust him more once you watched it back or not?
Yeah, I think maybe I didn't give Tammy enough chance. And maybe she was just totally on her game, like she was just so serious. And I wasn't that serious. So I was maybe at that point where I wasn't, saying, hey, this could be something and you could win here. And I was more on safari. So, and the general, I don't know. I always got along with him. Boston Rob. Sometimes I could have felt like, giving him a few bops, knuckle sandwiches. But when I look back at it, yeah, I mean, Tammy was a hot ticket. She knew what she wanted and she was going for it. So that was.
Yeah. Zoe, so in the show, it's really presented like, okay, the Row 2-4 is this group that they are sort of like rock solid. They're going to the end. Was that how it was in the real life, or did that get sort of played up by the show?
No, it was crazy. We won like the first 7, like, I don't know, just kept winning the challenges.
Yeah.
Like we were like just inherently forming that alliance that was so important. And I like when we all came together to compete, we were great, I thought. So I don't think it was played up, and I don't, it's hard to say with the editing, but yeah, no, I felt that we were very strong. And you knew something was going to happen. They were going to break that up. So, yeah. I mean, behind the scenes.
So, Rob, we know the 3 others that were with her, John and Tammy and the general. And for me, thinking now, the 4 of y'all, I think would have been true to each other all the way. Don't you think, Rob, knowing these 3 other players, I can't imagine anybody straying off. So I'm wondering.
Yeah, I guess the push-pull was, how much did certain people have like allegiances to Pascal and Nalia and to Kathy, and how much did the individual Row 2-4 members want to bring those other people along? Do you think anybody would have been tempted to go outside the Row 2-4 if it got down to it?
I think Nalia and Pascal were pretty tight, and so.
But would anybody from the 4 want to bring them in? Like, oh, come on, we gotta keep Pascal.
Yeah, I mean, Pascal was great. I do remember though him collapsing in my arms. He was very dehydrated
At the jury,
uh
or like at Ponderosa, or
no,
in the game.
this was like we were waiting to do something, and we were in line, like lined up, and he collapsed, and he had to be taken away for a while and get fixed up.
Right.
Yeah, he was very. I can't exactly. Maybe it was Sajura. I don't know. It's been a while.
There's a part where he gets he draws the rock and he's out of the game, and then the next night he's not at the tribal council and John like gives the update on Pascal. He needed to get some fluids, and then he comes back for the final tribal council.
Yes. I'm sorry. I think I got away from your previous question.
No, that's no problem. Look, this is a long time ago, Zoe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm getting older and my memory's getting a little less. Next time I'm going to be like Vesepia and bring the journal. That would be the smart thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, that was good. I mean, she was able to go back and then look things up. That was like proved to be like, a great tool that she was able to have.
Yeah. And it's kind of nice to be able, I mean, even now every day, like when I would lobster fishing, you write down things, different fishing grounds and, your catch. I mean, I write down little old school. I do it in like a notebook or a calendar. So it's always good to write stuff down.
Zoe, so did you watch it when it came on?
I did when I had time, because when I got back at the end of December, I started lobster fishing, though my season had started in the beginning of December. And because it's a very tight season fishery, only 6 months, really only 2 of those months are very productive when you first start out, and sometimes it's only one month. Like you get the month of December and you get good fishing, and then the water temperature gets colder as the season goes on, and so the fishing just drops off to like nothing. So when I got back, I had my crew and everybody waiting, and we went out, but the fishing wasn't that good. So it was kind of tough, but we survived.
Wait a minute. Rob, Zoe, are you telling me when your season aired, sometimes you'd watch it and sometimes you wouldn't?
Yeah, well, because I didn't have a satellite dish, so I would have to get up and go visit Don Cundy or whoever else had a satellite dish, because I didn't get, I got the local.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the.
But they could tape it for you, right?
Excuse me?
They could tape it, right, on the VCR?
I mean, I have seen the entire show, I guess, on tape, but not like when it just after it came out, like
at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friends, and they'd be like, "Oh, let's have a Survivor party," and I'd watch an episode with them, and have
So, do you think it's weird that people watch it now? That people are like, you couldn't watch it. You were on it. You missed it. You couldn't watch it. Now there are people, it's 22 years later, and that people are watching it today, Zoe.
It's amazing. It truly is. I was so, I couldn't believe that it's like held on for so long. I mean, I do, because it's very popular, and it's a great idea to, you go to this wild place somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, and you throw these people on a rock and tell them to live or in Africa or in Borneo or all of the different places that they go. It's such a cool program.
So Rob, we can tell Zoe stuff she has no idea about. She doesn't even know. So Zoe, you were voted out on day 27, right? Guess how long the show is now? Do you know?
No, I don't.
It's not 39 days anymore.
Oh, no?
I'll break it to her.
Zoe, you're not going to believe this. It's 26 days, the whole show.
Oh, really? That's
it? They have the winner on day 26. So you would have won the season. Or you've been in the end. You'd make it to the final tribal council.
Oh, that was the final tribal council in Madison Square Garden was, oh my gosh, that was crazy. That was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Well, T-Bird, I think might have. Do you have more fun facts for Zoe?
Well, I was going to say, did you know that little
6 days? Wow.
That little kid you were out there with that had the mouthy mouth, Boston Rob? Do you know how many times Boston Rob has played?
How many times has Boston Rob?
Well, didn't he like get married on the show and his wife like I just hear he's out there, and actually I went to a pizza place somewhere in Massachusetts and I met his brother. Like,
oh.
Yeah, this was like not too far, like this was maybe, I don't know, 8 months after being on Survivor. I was traveling somewhere to do something done, and he recognized me and he comes over and I said, "Oh my God, you look," I mean, you didn't look exactly like his, but
yeah. So Zoe, how many times for Boston Rob?
4 maybe?
Well, he's played 5.
Played
5 times.
Gosh.
Played 5 times. And he was on another, and there was another season that he didn't play, but they just built a statue of him and he coached people.
Oh, okay. I think I saw some of those and I didn't really know what was going on there. Because he married a young lady that he competed with, and then won, and then they had kids. I hope they're still married.
Yeah, I think the order is that he was on the show, she won. They were on the show, he proposed, she won, then they got married.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool.
And they have 4 kids, and one of them can drive now.
That doesn't even seem possible. My son's 38 now, and I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
I'm actually a grandmother.
It's a lot there.
Yeah, she is a grandma. Well, she's got a little baby girl.
Congratulations,
right?
Zoe.
Thank you. This is so cool to know all these things.
So Zoe, maybe you should have taken some lessons from Boston Rob, since he was later on giving all kind of feedback. And
well, maybe Zoe taught Boston Rob everything he knows.
Yeah, I think I should take lessons from T-Bird.
Yeah. I mean, he might be good on the ship, Zoe. He's very handy.
Yeah, I'm sure
you could use him on the island. He fixes up celebrities' homes sometimes.
Does he? That would be cool.
Yeah.
Well, my brother needs help. I mean, I think he'd get along well with my brother too.
Yeah.
Zoe, are you?
Go ahead,
Well, I was going to ask her, are you still recognized when you're in LA or when you're in Fort Lauderdale? Are you still? I mean, you look exactly the same. You have to be recognized.
Sometimes I'll, especially people coming out here, because like I'm on Monhegan. That's where I grew up, spent, the first 40 years of my life. But
I mean, you put Monhegan Island on the map, Zoe.
Yes,
Let's be real.
Oh,
yes,
no.
Monhegan
Island's been on the
Come
map
on.
before I ever got here.
Hey, Zoe, did you know, and I'm sure you did, that your season was supposed to be in Jordan?
Really? I did not.
You didn't?
Oh, wow. That would have been very different, because the Marquesas was so
no water there, right?
No water. No water.
And Zoe,
you would have been out of your element, Zoe.
I know. I do like the woods, though. I mean, but Jordan, wow.
And Zoe, they were going to have y'all riding in on camels.
Camels? No way.
What do you think about that?
Well, I love horses. Camels just a little different, a little look there. I certainly enjoyed the Marquesas. It was a very special spot, and I'd love to go back there just on some travel.
Yeah. So Zoe, you mentioned your big finale for Survivor Marquesas, big outdoor finale with Rosie O'Donnell. And what was that night like?
The thing with Rosie was, I thought that was on a set.
I thought you guys were at the skating rink at Central Park.
No, I think woman rink? No,
yeah.
Oh, I thought we were at Madison Square Garden. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, whatever, wherever you were, it was a great night.
It was. Oh my gosh.
Rosie gave you a car.
Rosie gave us a car. That was outstanding. And my son was getting, it was getting the time where he needed a ride. So, and he'd saved up his money to purchase a car. So this way he could put that money towards college. So that was cool.
Oh, you gave him the Saturn View?
I ended up trading it in, I think, for something else because it's in Maine. It was in a really good car for Maine because it wasn't heavy enough. So
yeah.
Okay. I don't know what ever happened to it, and then there was David Letterman. You got to be downstairs in the deli. That was so cool. And then I visited New York. I don't know, like a year later, and they had a Zoe sandwich or something,
wow,
beans in it or something.
Rupert G.
I don't know. It was really cool.
Yeah. Any fun stories that you can remember from that finale night?
Oh, good.
Behind the scenes?
I just remember it being very, very busy, and we went to we were dancing at this place, and
wow.
we were all looking so glamorous and walking on the carpet, and it was like to think that we were all on this island, and our hair was dirty, and we had hair under our arms and hair, and wherever.
Wherever, right? We don't need to know.
No,
right.
we don't know. That's information.
Zoe, have you stayed in touch with anybody from your season?
Well, I did. Initially, like Nalia, I brought a bunch of lobsters down there, and there was a bunch of people, and we all got together. I think some other Survivor people came, Gina maybe, or I can't really remember all of the people that were there. And John, I've been in touch with him a few times.
It really was a love tribe.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have loved to have seen Gabe's farm in Vermont or something, wherever he was. He was such a neat character show, and like helped me climbing the coconut trees, because he could like shimmy up that thing like crazy, like a friggin' badger, a honey badger. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Talking about a character, John. Let me see, Zoe. Let me see if Rob's got something for us.
Thought you were going to say
just give him a minute.
T-Bird.
John always had this big secret that he told me in the beginning, and he said, "Don't ever tell anybody." And I never did. I can tell you now, I think, though.
Okay.
If it's okay, Zoe.
If it's okay to tell us whatever you think.
It's not like his social security number or anything, right?
No. It was only about his tattoo, which I believe was a real tattoo because he went swimming with it. And it had outlive, outlast, it would had all of the
outwit, outplay, outlast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was all in Latin, and he said, "Don't tell anybody," but because he had been I guess he had tried to get on the show a few times before, and it was just really, I don't know, it was really cool. Like, this, that was one of the things when we made Fire together, like that's sort of like, I felt like I would had a good relationship with John, and like he'd be honest and sort of tell me if things were going south, and then things went south for him and then went south for me.
Nobody was there to tell you. Yeah. All right. Let's hear from your buddy. Okay. All right, here we go.
I got some goat butt here. Sorry. I should probably flip my hat around because the sun is awful bright and I got goats everywhere around me.
Beautiful lighting, though.
My gosh.
Hey, Zoe. Hey, Rob. Hey, Teresa. So I hear you're doing the podcast, and I'm just here with my goat friends, and you are there with my goat friends. So I've been asked to share a Zoe story. So the one I always share, let me say, I rarely share, but I have shared it a handful of times, was while you're on the island, all of your bodily functions don't work. We all talk about,
Oh, yeah.
You don't go to the bathroom, and then you go too much, this, that, and the other. Well, if you're a guy, after about 10 days of being on the island, certain parts of your anatomy no longer work either.
Okay.
Or not as they should. And after we got voted out, little Zoe happened to walk by the tent and said, "Hey, I got something for you." And all of a sudden an object flew through the tent window, and it was a bottle of personal lubricant. And she said, "Hey, see if this will work." I'm not going to say whether it did or not, but I might be asking for a sponsorship if I ever play again.
Yeah, right.
Thanks, Zoe.
Wow, Zoe.
Whoa, I don't remember that, but
You sure that was you?
well, I don't know. Must be. I mean, I got.
Sure it wasn't the Kathy or something that did that?
I don't know. I do not remember doing that. John might have been hallucinating, you know.
So Zoe, you mentioned about John's tattoo. Do you have any tattoos, or did you get any to represent Survivor once you got off the show?
I believe I had my little seahorse tattoo on the back of my shoulder there.
Mm-hmm.
Before Survivor?
Before Survivor, yeah. Quite sure.
So you didn't get outwit, outlive, outlast in Latin?
No, I usually give blood every 2 months. The Red Cross says you can give blood. And if you do get a tattoo, they sort of take you off the give blood list for a while. So it's sort of important for me to do that because I had a friend that needed to have her own blood for her operation. So I went with her the first time to do it. And now I just, I figure it's a good thing to do. And
yeah.
That's great, Zoe. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really incredible.
So Zoe, what did you think about Jeff
quite
Probst?
a story John told. I'm going to have to call him up and ask him.
Correct the record on that. Allegedly, we're going to say on that.
He remembered it pretty clearly because he
actually
had sent me a message and said, can I tell this one story that's, so he seemed to really be sure it was you, but hey, I don't know. Yeah. He could have gotten it wrong. So when you got out to the Marquesas and met Probst, probably Jeff Probst to you wasn't any big deal because you probably didn't know who he was at all, right?
I mean, I knew he was like the lead guy at, of Survivor. Like he was the announcer gentleman.
Yeah. What was your opinion of Jeff? Or give me one word to describe Jeff.
One word to describe Jeff? I don't think you can describe Jeff in one word because he's out. I mean, he's pretty outstanding guy to do all he's done and continue to do it and still look so good, got the best job. He really does. I think he was honest, straightforward, and like didn't, he just played the game as everyone else did, or he didn't play the game, but he led the game and was very just straightforward and mm-hmm. He's a great guy. Like I would have liked to have gone and asked him all sorts of questions, but
what kind of questions you want to ask him?
Like about how to get involved in the editing or not the editing, but like how to be more a part of the production of mm-hmm. Survivor and instead of a contestant.
Is that something you would have wanted to do? Zoe, work on a show like Survivor? I mean, that is pretty outdoorsy. There is a lot of like construction and they use 1 million boats now. Right.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. Somebody said they were sort of working out of Fiji.
Yeah. Their whole setup is Fiji now. They only go to Fiji.
Oh, really?
Every season is in Fiji.
Wow.
Yeah. They just Survivor permanently lives in Fiji.
That's not a bad spot.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
So you would be great.
We like it. We're moving in.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I think Jeff bought a house there, didn't he, Rob?
I'm sure he has like a permanent like living space there.
That would be handy. I mean, yeah. You'd want one. You were you would be great on the crew out there.
Wouldn't she? That would be a great thing. I would imagine if you got to the right person, that could easily be arranged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Would you
You know-
still be interested in it?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
Fine, let's put it out
All right,
there.
the right people are listening. Call Zoe for the dream team or for the Marine department. I mean, they've got hundreds of people that work on Survivor now.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
It's not this fly-by-night operation that we were used to.
We might to make something happen
Sorry,
here.
what program were you on? Can I ask you that question?
Me?
Yeah.
Zoe, I went to go play Survivor 1 year after you.
Oh. Sorry.
That's okay. And this is going to blow you up. Yeah, I would, and then I was on a season with Boston Rob and Kathy.
Oh wow, Kathy went back too?
You didn't know Kathy went back? Well, Zoe, I have some bad news. It was a whole thing with Boston Rob and those two. I mean, it got a little. You thought it got tense in the Marquesas.
Oh, I don't see them getting along, but I mean,
they did for a while, and then it got a little. It was a whole thing. It's so interesting. It's so interesting. This never came up ever.
No. I unfortunately, somebody's got to pay the bills, so I'm working.
Yeah.
I get home and I crash and I don't have a place to watch TV, or I'm on the road, or I'm on a boat out to sea for a month, and and I guess I don't utilize my phone enough to watch. It's kind of old.
Yeah.
Update it.
I love it. Rob, I love it. She works hard. She's not all all into this reality stuff. I love it. It's wonderful.
Yeah. And the good news and the bad news is we don't have anything else to catch you up on because they never brought anybody else back from Survivor Marquesas.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know.
That was it.
I feel a little bit enlightened now,
Yeah. So were there any things that you wish they would have shown that you remember happening from being out there in the Marquesas?
Yes, there is this one scene that I remember. We were all like little sardines sleeping like to keep warm, because believe it or not, we were all wet coming home from tribal council, and we didn't have blankets or anything. So we sleep, like all sort of next to each other. And there was and by that time we had a knife, and we had some tools that we had won, but it was at night, and the camera crew was like we were, like whispering, I guess, and they were trying to figure out, what was going on. Like, were we doing something, covert that they wanted to know about? And they had this, I had never seen a mic like that before that was all fuzzy,
Oh, yeah.
Like
a boom mic,
half long, and yeah, and it was at our feet. And I was asleep. I always like to, I'm an aisle person on the plane, T-bird, so I have to sleep in bed. And I was by the table where I always like to know where the tools were, and at our feet. And I grabbed the knife, and it was dark, and I was about ready to chop the mic in half, and all of a sudden they lit up something, and they were all like, ah!
Wait, did you think it was like a creature?
I did. Well, there were no raccoons there, but I'm like, what the heck is that?
What's this floating furry thing that's over us?
We didn't because it must have been on a long boom. They didn't. We didn't know that they were around, the camera crew, and it was very funny. I'm like, I remember I think I had it in my right hand because I'm right-handed, and I was literally about ready to chop this thing. It was pretty.
Wow.
Zoe, you ended up voting for Nalia to win.
Correct.
Instead of Asepia. So it seems like, Rob, get ready. I'm giving you a little heads up.
I'm ready.
Uh-oh, should I get ready?
Get ready.
I'm ready.
Go ahead, Rob. This will be a good time.
Okay. All right. Let's check in with, we heard from John. Let's hear from Sweet Pea.
Zoe, where have you been? I have been searching for you. I don't even know how to get a hold of you. So, Rob and Teresa, good job getting her on this podcast because I miss your face and you need to call me and we need to talk. I haven't seen you in the longest time. I wanted to share a couple of fun memories that I have of you on the show, Zoe. And first of all, you guys need to know Zoe was the hardest worker out there. She never sat down. She never stopped. I mean, there's nothing that Zoe can't do. And she was such a good provider, always took care of people. You know, made us bracelets, made us shell necklaces, just always just like so thoughtful. And it was so nice having someone like that out there on our tribe during that time. You just were so loving and caring, never had anything bad to say about anybody. You just worked so hard. And anyways, I just love you to pieces. A couple of fun stories I wanted to share. Do you remember when we first landed on row 2? And we were all laying together that night side by side. Obviously, we didn't have a shelter. We had no blankets and pillows. I think we were sleeping on life jackets. And we had heard that there were pigs around. And so we were all laying there one night and we heard this rustling in the bushes. And we're like, oh my gosh, you guys, the pigs have arrived at our camp. We all got our machetes. Well, we had 2 machetes. So we got our 2 machetes and started like walking through the bushes trying to find these pigs to see if we could kill them so that we could have food to eat. And we went over to this bush and was like chopping around a little bit. And then we found the boom pole from the camera guy's microphone. And it was even fuzzy. And we just laughed and laughed about that. I still love that memory. I love that we thought that as soon as we got out to Survivor that we were just going to, you know, have pigs come walking into our camp that easily that we're going to like just be able to kill them and eat. We were so naive, weren't we? But you know what? We put it out there in the universe and guess what? It never happened. So it's fine. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about. So after the tribe swapped and Kathy and Pascal and I got sent over to Maraamu, we had a challenge. So it was the first challenge that we were ever able to like be back together again with each other. And you and I were put at a station at the relay. And we were waiting for our turn in the relay. And I looked over to you and I was like, Zoe, are you guys going to throw a challenge so that we can get them out and get row 2 back together? And you never said anything to me. Oh my gosh.
I heard it.
I knew then. I was like, honestly, everybody says it was a coconut challenge that like solidified everything. But I have to say, you were the first person that put doubt into my mind. And I'm glad you didn't lie to me. Imagine if you would have lied to me, or imagine if you guys would have thrown the challenge, maybe how different the game would have turned out. Wow. But anyway, that was kind of a cool moment that never was on camera that always stuck with me. I love you. I miss your face. I cannot wait to listen to this podcast and catch up with you. Okay. I hope you're doing so great, and I will talk to you soon. Okay.
Thank you, Nalia. Zoe, you had a big reaction about like that you did not hear Nalia say that?
I don't. Yeah, I don't recall that.
Now, would you have thrown the challenge for Nalia and Pascal so that they would not have gone to tribal council?
Looking back, yeah, I did. I really liked their company.
I mean, they had the numbers. I mean, I don't think that they were in danger over there.
No. Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. But Nalia said then she knew then. That was it.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't remember. I don't recall that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have that. Because that would have been like a really, like for her to say something, because Nalia was amazing. Like she was going through like this grass. It would cut your legs and she never complained. She would climb trees. Like I couldn't. For some reason, I couldn't get up the tree. And she said, well, I'll get up there. Give me a boost. And we were looking for breadfruit. And, you know, she was just so amazing and so willing to, like, just be out there and do stuff. And I was probably doing, I don't know, I should have just stayed at camp more and hung out. Chatted more.
Yeah. Zoe, so one of the things from the jury, when you all showed up at the final tribal council, everybody was wearing black for the final tribal council. Was there a meeting about, hey, what do you think about this look that will go to the final tribal council wearing? Even Jeff noticed, oh, the jurors are wearing black tonight.
Whoa. There was this sort of, I remember something being said that, we got to be serious here. No more, this, like, we're the judge and we're the judges now. I remember something.
No, Pascal was the judge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Pascal was a judge.
You were the jury.
Oh, a jury. That's right. That's right. I remember we were getting, because now we're the jury and we're able to have like clothes on that aren't, the same clothes that we've been wearing for 39 days or 27 days or however many days. We were just supposed to be very serious about it. And I don't know. I've sort of lost track of what that was all about, but so sorry. Brain cramp.
That's okay.
Zoe, what did you send in for your audition video?
Let's see here. I was working on a calendar with a friend of mine who actually lives in New York, about lobster fishing and like all of my mantras. And she was an amazing lady to work with. And she helped me do the video. And it was, I don't think I ever saw the last final cut because I was working and she took all of this footage and made it and was able to send it in. But it was all about just working outdoors and lobster fishing. And I honestly, I never saw the final cut.
Zoe, this is a great way to wind down our interview. I'm glad you mentioned your calendar. So if I'm not mistaken, wasn't there a nude shot of you in this calendar?
Well,
and you brought one to CBS to the early show and you gave them one. And I don't know if you'd looked at your own calendar, but there was a nude shot in there of you. Do you have any of these calendars left, Zoe?
I think I have one left.
It
was my bag.
I'm sure it was tasteful.
Yeah.
It was tasteful. And sometimes out here on Monhegan, you can go out on the rocks somewhere on a beautiful day when it's sunny and get some extra vitamin D in places where you might not get vitamin D, like through your epidermis, so sometimes I would do that. And I guess, it's just part of my life, like I'm sure all of us would have gone, skinny dipping in the Marquesas if the sharks weren't so prevalent. But
hey, I'm not judging at all, but you've got one calendar left. You auction that off. You can take a summer off.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's not that. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't an amazing production and like it was. I was so happy to be able to. I mean, I had 10,000 of them printed up and I sold them and did fundraising things with them and stuff like that. It was near and dear to my heart because I don't really lobster fish. I go out with my old captain or whatever. I'm not fishing by myself now with my own boat. So it's nice to have those memories because I did that for 20 years and I said, I got to do something else. So now I do more work.
Other than us getting you back out on the island.
Well, hold on. Let's Zoe. Okay. So do you know what number Survivor we're at?
49 and it starts on the 18th.
No, you're very close. It's 47.
Look at that.
But it does start on the 18th.
Oh, 47.
Yes. Okay. We're only at 47, but Survivor 50 is around the corner. And Jeff has said they're going to bring back returning players for Survivor 50. So my question for you is that, Zoe, should Boston Rob play for a sixth time? No, I'm just kidding. I want to know, will you play again, Zoe, if they asked you?
I definitely give it a shot. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Why not?
Wow.
Would you get involved with that little alliance thing?
Well, yeah, you got to.
You got to.
Oh God,
Yeah.
Rob, tell her really fast how the game
I'm
has
a quick
changed.
learner.
She doesn't know this about all the idols and all the different.
Zoe, there's
Shot
a
in the
thing
dark.
called the hidden immunity idol. Okay, they have a thing now that they go and they hide in the woods, and then you can find it, and then when you go to the tribal council, you can play it and say, "Hey, I'm playing my thing. Oh, any votes for Zoe aren't going to count tonight." What do you think of that?
That's pretty cool. You just got to find it, right? You got to have some extra.
You just gotta find it. Okay. There's also a thing called the idol nullifier. Okay, so then you have your thing. Okay, you play your idol, but then I go and I have the idol nullifier, and then I put my thing in the voting booth in the urn. So you stand up and you say, "Hey, I got my thing," and they say, "Okay, any votes for Zoe aren't going to count." But then Jeff opens up the urn, and if I play the idol nullifier and then it says Zoe, then it's like, "Oh, but I'm sorry, you got idol nullified." So now the votes for Zoe do count tonight.
Unless Rob, she's played her shot in the dark.
Yeah, then everybody has a shot in the dark. Okay, so there's everybody gets this 6-sided die. Okay, and so you start the game and you have your shot in the dark. Okay, and so if you play the shot in the dark, you have a 1 in 6 chance of the votes not counting for you. So you go to tribal council and you have your little shot in the dark dice, and you know what you do with it, Zoe?
Do tell.
You put it in this. There's a little volcano, and you put the dice into the volcano. Yeah, and then you pick out of there's a bag of scrolls, and you pick one of the papers out of the scroll, and it says safe or not safe, and then you don't get to cast a vote, and then you come back to your seat, and then you open, and then they say, "Jeff, I played the shot in the dark tonight," and then Jeff will open it and will say safe or not safe.
Wow, this is complicated.
Well, it's the new era, Zoe. After season 40, we said, okay, now this is the new era of Survivor, and we're changing everything. Sometimes they have a thing called knowledge is power, Zoe.
Yes.
You know about knowledge is power?
Yes, I do. How
do you know about knowledge is power? You didn't know that Kathy went back for Survivor All-Stars, but you know about knowledge is power?
It's just different knowledge that, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Lacking in my Survivor knowledge. So I do need to brush up on my Survivor knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power is when you can ask somebody if they have a thing at tribal council. Be like, "Hey, Zoe, do you have a hidden immunity idol? Because I have knowledge is power." And then if the answer is yes, you have to give it to me. You have to give it to me because I asked you. I had the thing.
And if you don't, then
then nothing. Then. What do you think of this, Zoe? Remember when Pascal got out at the final 4 because he had to draw a rock? So now every season at the final 4, they don't even have a vote. They have to have the 2 people make a fire at the final 4.
Oh, wow.
I feel like you would like that.
Yeah, as long as I had a magnifying glass.
No, you have to do it with a flint and a machete.
Oh, a flint and a machete. Okay.
You could do that.
You could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like they time it. I think I saw one and they timed it.
They're like having a race. The first person to get it to burn their string, it ends up going to the final 3. And there's a final 3 now also, Zoe.
Oh, wow. This is, I don't know. I might have to think this over.
And you know how you went to the reunion show either at Madison Square Garden or the skating rink?
Yeah.
They don't even do that anymore. They do it all. They count all the votes on the island. There's no reunion show.
Well, Rob, it's a pizza party.
And they give them pizza.
With champagne.
Yeah.
Pizza and champagne.
That's it.
That's better. That's way better.
Mm-hmm.
All on location. I wish we had done that on Survivor. But
all right, T-Bird, do you have any other questions for Zoe?
Zoe, thank you. I could talk to Zoe for hours and hours. I'm so impressed with her. I'm
impressed with Zoe that your arm must be so tired, Zoe, holding up the phone. This is like an endurance challenge. T-Bird, I think she could outlast you in holding the arm up in the air.
Remember, I was where was I? I was in Canada. No, yeah, I don't know. And it was like, and you had to hold out pitchers of beer, 2 pitchers of beer, and like it was however, I know, it was silly.
Yes. Okay. Well, incredible job. So, will there be a 2025 calendar coming out?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, that back in 2002, I think I did that calendar, but I would do another calendar down the road. No centerfolds though.
All right. Well, all right. 2027 it'll be the 25th anniversary edition.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Maybe I could remake the old one, but I have to take all the tides out because that'd be different anyway.
Okay. It's
talk to you.
Yeah. Okay. That's amazing. So that the calendar had like the dates for the tide going in and out. I mean, that's important to know.
Well, yeah, because I tried to make it a calendar. Well, it was my idea that it would be, it's very important for me as a fisherman to know what the tide's doing because there's like a 10-foot tide here in Maine. And
yeah,
like every time you want to, if you have freight or anything, you want to do it on the high tide. So you're not like walking up 10 flights of stairs with all sorts of supply, traps and bait. So, some reason, if you need to haul out your boat up on the beach, you need to do that on the low tide or at the high tide and then know what the low tide is. So yeah, very important to know what the tides are.
Yeah. Well, Zoe, thank you for making some time to talk with us. Please don't be insulted that T-Bird dropped off. I don't think that she hung up on you. I think we just lost her connection here at the end, but I'm sure. Let me send her regards in case she doesn't get back on here. And Zoe, this was such a thrill for me to get the chance to talk to you.
Likewise, Rob. This has been, I was a little apprehensive because I'm kind of
I know you don't do a lot of stuff like this. That's why it's so special for both T-Bird and myself that you were up for doing this. And maybe you say like, oh boy, if John Carroll is going to tell stories like that, then I regret it. But hopefully you thought it was a good experience.
It was all good. It was all good.
Yeah. All right. Zoe,
Thanks,
take care. All the best. Okay.
Yeah,
and
right. Likewise you as well.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Here's T-Bird. T-Bird. Okay.
Oh gosh, you guys, we're so lucky that until just at the very end that happened. I mean, we've been so lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you on Monhegan Island, T-Bird?
I called you and said, "Where the heck did you go?"
I just, yeah. Well,
I was just telling Zoe how much we appreciated her making some time to talk to us.
Yeah.
And T-Bird was so excited.
It's been really a pleasure, and it's nice to, I don't know, I do need to get in contact with some of those people because we had a great experience, I think, when it's said and done, it was quite an event.
Yep. John actually shot me 2 videos. I'll send the one to you did not see, but he referenced something about a reunion or something coming up for the Marquesas group. So I'll send you that, and I've got his number and Leah's. I know they would love to hear from you.
That would be awesome. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, Zoe, thank you so much. Okay.
Have a great
day.
Zoe, thank you.
All right, T-Bird, there you have it. Zoe Zanadakis.
Oh my goodness, Rob. So
that was so fun.
Yes, that was great fun. Isn't it fun to talk to somebody who I call it innocent, so innocent about Survivor? That, we're telling her all this stuff and she's, and it's really neat. And that's the way when she was cast, the same way. She didn't do like a lot of people, I guess, do the research and all that about going. She just went out there and, gave it her best shot. So
she's been on the boat. We had a lot to tell her.
She's been on the boat. So anyway, what a delight. I know the fans are going to love catching up with her.
Yeah, I hope so. That was very fun. Okay.
What a way to end this series. I mean,
well, don't end this series.
Well, no.
People think you're canceled.
The season.
The season. Yeah. I mean, what a Survivor off season it's been, T-Bird, from when we got started. What, in the beginning, back in the first week of June?
Yep.
Let me see.
Started with Tina Wesson.
Let me go back from when. No, we talked with Tina Wesson back on June 4th, and it was this summer. We talked with Tina, Krista, Nick Brown, Aubrey, Penner, Janet, Will Wall, and now Zoe.
Pretty good. You left someone out.
Oh, well, hold on. I didn't leave somebody out. The people that make the website left somebody out.
Sugar.
Well, guess what, T-Bird? The crack team at Rob is a Podcast didn't put that in the Talking with T-Bird category. How about that?
What? No, Sugar? Well, get Sugar back in. Get Sugar back in. Where's Sam?
I don't know. You want to yell at him, T-Bird?
We got to talk. What?
You want to yell at Sam?
No, I'm never going to yell at Sam. He does a great job.
Okay.
But Rob,
fix that immediately.
What a great season 5 we've had, and actually have a couple more lined up. You know,
yeah. What for December, January?
Possibly,
okay.
if the boss approves it.
All right. Well, we will bring you them as soon as we record them. Anyway, T-Bird, congratulations again. Thank you for all your hard work bringing Talking with T-Bird to the masses. And T-Bird, again, congratulations on getting voted into the Survivor 50 wish list.
Rob, thank you. Congratulations to you as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And
I mean,
Rob, I
the
mentioned this to you before, and I want to say this because I really mean this. Getting voted into that is enough. If that's as far as it goes, to have that from the fans is enough. And it's like second chances. Being voted in that group was really big for me, even though I didn't make the final group. It was still a lot to make the small group. So this was wonderful. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, T-Bird, thank you for all your hard work. Of course, you can listen to all of our old Talking with T-Bird episodes. Go to robinswebsite.com/T-Bird feed. T-Bird, where can people keep up with you?
At T-Bird Cooper.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.